The Golden State Warriors have been absolutely racking up win after win since Jimmy Butler's debut with the team back on February 8th, and things go a bit deeper than Butler's numbers themselves. There's new aspects to the Warriors' game plan as well as a versatility that Butler has added since joining the team, and I want to break down film and go over what those things are today in this video. The first thing I want to touch on is how since Jimmy Butler's arrival, some of his new teammates in Golden State have seen improvements in their game or just new roles in general. The player who's been the biggest example of that is Draymond Green. Draymond's role as a facilitator has only increased since Jimmy's arrived in Golden State, as Green went from averaging 5.5 assists per game to 6.7 assists per game since February 8th. He's also seen his rebounds per game jump from 6 to 6.5 per game, and his steals jump from 1.1 to 2.1 per game as well. For the first part of this video though, let's mainly focus on how great Green's facilitation has been since Butler's arrived, and we're also going to take a look at how great Jimmy has facilitated himself and just worked on screens also in the early part of this video. Green's distributed great to everyone, but him and Butler already look like they've built great chemistry together. Right here in their game against the Nets, Santos has the ball with Thomas guarding him. He passes to Draymond Green, and watch this. As soon as Draymond catches it, Steph knows to begin cutting, and it looks like Butler kind of shoves Keon Johnson into Steph's direction even more as Cam Johnson leaves Butler to block Steph from getting to the rim, and now Butler is wide open. Santos cuts with Thomas still on him to get Butler more room, and Santos uses his body to stop a late contest on Butler from Cam Thomas as Jimmy hits the open three-pointer. In the Warriors game against the Hornets on March 3rd, Green showed off his value the most in any game that he has since Jimmy's arrived. Green's taken the ball up the court a lot recently, and he did so on this possession as he gets it to Podziemski and provides a great screen for him on Jeffries. That gives Podziemski the time and the space to cut to the paint while Jeffries follows him to help LaMelo and Nurkic contest, but this leaves Draymond Green wide open as Green receives a beautiful pass back, and watch Butler as Green and Hield work together passing the ball, and Butler cuts to the corner and hits a nice three over Nurkic. Green's really been hustling lately, which of course has always been a big part of Draymond's game, but with the renewed attention on Golden State following the Butler trade, it feels like that aspect of his game has gotten more attention and deserved recognition as of late. Right here, after a missed shot from Golden State, Green doesn't give up, and in an attempt to steal the ball from LaMelo, dives on the floor and gets the hockey assist as he dishes it to Butler while on the ground, and Butler relays the ball to Hield for three. Green's been very good at quick decision making as well. Watch Butler doing a great job of navigating inside the arc early in the possession, and Green receives the ball, and Butler does a great job of cutting back as Green finds the great passing angle on Butler's cut, and the connection results in 2 points for Golden State. I was originally going to transition first into how Jimmy has done a great job of facilitating, but I really do think it's been more impressive just the results that the Warriors have seen out of Jimmy as a screener, which we're going to go into now. This play right here shows off just the great success that the Warriors have seen when they've had Jimmy Butler screen for Steph Curry, as well as really just the cohesion that the Warriors' new big three already have together. Jimmy's effectiveness as a screener has been not only on ball, but off ball too. There's a back screen for Steph and Dallas switches, and notice how Butler holds to seal so Christie can't recover. He immediately cuts after Curry does. Draymond sees it immediately and gives Jimmy the ball for the easy dunk. Jimmy and Steph's screen and rolls really open up a lot, and on a play like this one, Jimmy isn't even the scorer. Jimmy screens for Steph here, and Steph gives him the ball as he rolls, and Podziemski is wide open and attracts 3 Bulls defenders after getting the ball. That leaves Steph wide open, and he decides not to take the immediate shot. And despite this being a solid closeout and pretty much as close to as much defense as you can play without getting called for a foul, Steph still made the Bulls pay here. Jimmy Butler as a screener for Steph Curry is going to be tough to deal with in the playoffs if you couldn't tell already. On this play right here, Jimmy comes over to give a screen to Steph, and you have one person just trying to contain and fight over with the other on the move trying to be at the level. And as Jimmy comes off the screen, he's able to just slip out and finish in the paint for the bucket. I really like this play here with Jimmy being involved in the off-ball movement. The handoff to Jimmy is denied, so he wraps back around and gets it behind the arc. Watch post cut to the corner and Jimmy decide to cut into the paint, and the defensive mistake from the Mavericks of not keeping an eye on post leads to all Mavs players being in Jimmy's vicinity, and he feeds the ball to post in the corner for an open three. This was yet another play where Jimmy screened for Steph, but this time with Draymond facilitating. Jimmy has possession and gets the ball to Moody. Moody passes to Steph, and Butler comes up the screen for Steph to get Prosper off of him. That leaves the paint absolutely empty as Butler immediately cuts, Draymond finds the angle for the beautiful bounce pass, and Jimmy Butler gets an easy dunk. Now let's get into the film on how great Jimmy's facilitation has been. You might remember during Mark Jackson's time coaching the Warriors, they ran the elevator doors play a lot. Well, these next few plays we look at are similar yet different as there's only one screener and Curry curls after coming off the screen. Right here with Butler in possession of the ball, he fakes the handoff to Santos as Green fakes the off-ball screen for Steph. Green then cuts back. Butler passes to him, and Dre navigates the screen on Beasley as Steph navigates back outside, and Butler gets it to the curling Steph Curry for a shot that's just so easy for Steph. Here, they used Post as the screener instead of Green. Green screens for Butler on the inbound to get him open, and Steph navigates into the paint as Post catches Butler's pass before tapping it back to him. Post then immediately cuts to set the screen on Caldwell Pope to open up Steph, as Butler hits the cutting Steph Curry here for what is again an easy three-pointer. Here, Butler gets the pass and waits for Looney to cut back after Looney fakes the off-ball screen for Steph. As this is going on, Steph speeds up as Looney provides the screen on Kamara for Steph, and even with the decent amount of defense from Avia, Steph knocks this three down. Even if it's not Steph curling off a screen, or heck, not even a made shot, the Warriors' big three has great chemistry together already, like I stated. Here, Butler gets it after Post wins the jump ball. Podziemski screens on Wagner to get Banchero onto Butler, and Green sets a beautiful screen for Steph as well, but sadly the great setup ends up in a Curry missed three. Another thing Golden State's run well in terms of Butler passing to Steph are screens and double screens on the wing to get open three-pointers. Here, Payton gets a high screen for Post. He gets stuck and sends it to Butler as Steph screens on Claxton and immediately shifts speeds towards the wing with Claxton tracking him. And Payton's hesitation slowed down Claxton even more than he already was as Steph's quick release gets him three off of this pass from Butler. Here, Butler receives the pass as Podziemski fights and tries to screen for Butler. Once Butler receives the screen, he cuts to the wing, gets Steph the handoff, and then proceeds to screen Caldwell Pope as Cole Anthony gave Steph too much space and Steph makes him pay. I also really like this play from the team's game against the Knicks. Moody takes the ball up the court, and watch how Butler just never stops moving. Moody gets the ball to Podziemski, and with Podziemski being a three-point threat, three Knicks players are all eyes on him as Butler slips past Hart in the paint, catches the pass, and relays it to Moody for three. What's crazy to me also is that four players from New York were on the strong side of the court, while only Bridges was guarding Steph on the weak side, yet they still couldn't stop this pretty rudimentary play from the Warriors. Yet another thing I want to touch on is the biggest aspect that Jimmy's added to this Warriors team, and that is the team's increased success when they get the ball in the paint. Jimmy Butler is averaging the 6th most passes in the paint per game since arriving in Golden State, as well as the 9th most assists in the paint. Butler's averaging 1 free throw made per game off of getting fouled in the paint, while averaging 1.1 attempts off of that, which of course makes sense as he's drawing a lot of fouls on end-one plays. The Warriors are averaging 26.1 points per game in the paint off of paint touches since Jimmy Butler's arrival, which is the 3rd best in the NBA. This is up from the 17.5 they averaged prior to Butler coming to the team, which was the 8th worst in the league. Clearly, the Warriors have had much more of a well-rounded team and have found a true identity with Butler now. The Warriors, like I said, have been locked in though defensively. The team has gone from the 9th most steals at 8.6 per game prior to Butler joining the team to now the most steals in the league per game at 10.4 with Butler. Butler's steals are only up 0.2 since arriving in Golden State versus his stretch of the season with the Heat, but regardless of that, those are still 1.3 steals that the Warriors added now to their team that they didn't have beforehand. They're also 0.4 more steals than both Kuminga or Wiggins averaged individually with Golden State this season. And now Kuminga is officially back, and we'll get to see how he looks with the new look Warriors. I will say, regardless of what happens, I think Draymond as a small ball 5 might be what leads the Warriors to the most success, as he's got great basketball IQ defensively, and as you can see here, his versatility as well as just his ability to guard a larger center like Mitchell Robinson while disrupting the lob is on display. And even this play shows off how good Jimmy Butler and Draymond Green can be defensively, with this play specifically showing off how good they are together on the weak side. The Bulls think they've kept Curry from recovering, so they engage Vucevic. And here comes Draymond to help, and the corner pass is open for the Bulls, but Jimmy Butler rotates and gets the steal. And just to kind of hammer home how much better the Warriors are passing now opposed to before Jimmy Butler arrived, I want to show off some of the passing stats for all players in the league. I do think it's important to point out though that as a team, Golden State has led the league in assists per game ever since Jimmy Butler joined the team back on February 8th. Prior to Butler joining the team, Golden State didn't have a single player in the top 25 of any passing stats aside from Steph Curry being in the top 3 for the most secondary assists per game. Looking at the stats now though, since Butler's arrived, Draymond is top 10 in the league for the most passes made per game, coming in 8th place, and he was in 6th place prior to Golden State's game against the Kings on March 13th. Curry's received the 12th most passes from teammates in the league, and Draymond is currently in 15th place for the most assists per game. Steph also leads the league in the secondary assists per game category. And for adjusted assists, which is a stat that combines your assists, passes that led to points on the foul line, and secondary assists, Curry is in 9th place while Draymond is in 14th. I know a lot of people that watch my videos aren't super crazy about analytics like the ones we just looked at, but I do think it paints a pretty good picture of just how a team has changed over a span of time, and you can really paint that picture just with Golden State's numbers ever since Butler joined the team. What I will say now though is this. I didn't expect Jimmy to be the missing puzzle piece for the Warriors, but with the team having a big 3 that's facilitated extremely well, to the point that they've led the league in assists since Butler's joined the team, and the team now having a great paint presence and cutter that they didn't have before in Jimmy Butler, they might find themselves in the Western Conference Finals or NBA Finals this season. It seems like I showed off though that the team's screen game, Draymond's improved facilitation, and Butler's ability to attack down low have opened up new layers of attack for Golden State that other teams just haven't been able to stop. And even defensively, I've really liked what I've seen from Jimmy and Draymond working together, and we've shown off just a couple plays how they look defensively, with Jimmy stealing the ball, Jimmy and Draymond working on the weak side. And in terms of the center spot, like I said, I would like to see them try Draymond as a small ball 5 once again, but I do think ever since they inserted Quentin Post into the starting lineup, it's kind of yielded great results for them, so why even change that, you know? I want to know what you think though in the comments about the Warriors, Jimmy Butler, or anything relating to the NBA down below. Of course, if you enjoyed the video, then make sure to give it a like and subscribe if you're new to the channel, as it helps me out a lot. Thank you everyone for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.